Today's guest dives into ideas and thinks deeper than anyone I know. One of the greatest strengths is his ability to see life through perspective, and he puts the practice of self-improvement into action every single day. But before we get into this, I want to say a huge thank you to Parliament Square Coffee for allowing us to film. But anyway, let's get into this. Are you ready to go into it then?
All good.
Okay, let's go. I want to begin around the topic of your upbringing. What I thought was interesting was the angle you said, you don't choose your parents. That is basically a lucky dip, which it can be a defining moment. What characteristics and ideas did your parents install in you?
I think humility is a big one because naturally coming from working class environment, it's like a big thing. It's almost like you don't get to even choose that you have humility. You just have the humility from being in the situation. Like there's no other alternative because you're not rich. There's nothing else that you can do. So you've almost got to have that within you. And then that humility spreads across everything that you do. So you almost don't take for granted, for example, things like education, things like having food, things like having like the opportunity to socialize and be like in a normal situation. So that humility to be like, yeah, I'm not on top of the world.
Yeah.
I'm not at the bottom, but like I'm in a position where I can work for things, but you've got to work for it. That like humility, it's like been a big thing.
You have the middle ground, and you have the balance of being able to go, I'm not at the best point, but I'm not at the lowest point. I'm happy where I am, and there's potential to move.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah, and I think it's something that's, sometimes when you're younger, you're like, oh, I wish I had this, I wish I had that. But then as you grow older, you realize and you realize that it's like a superpower almost, because it's the thing of you can have dreams. Because if you got everything already, it's like almost like if you get like in a situation where you're like depressed or sad, you're like, I've got everything, but I'm still sad. Whereas if you're depressed and sad and a little bit anxious, but you can strive towards something, it's like, it invigorates you and it makes you feel like, okay, I've got something to work for, kind of thing. And then obviously that comes into another like deep hole of if you complete all your desires and you still feel sad, where do you go from there? But obviously
I don't think you can, because there's always another one. Because even no matter completing it, then you want a better completing it.
Yeah.
So no matter what it is, it could be in running. No runner gets to the PB and goes, I've completed it. I want to stop.
Yeah.
There we go, I'm done.
Yeah.
Really. But I think that's in every life. So the desires will always come.
Yeah. I think that's why it's important to be really specific about setting your goals and setting your dreams and really like think it through and then just go at it. Because a lot of times people will choose, when we're talking about mimetic desires, like yesterday, and it was like people just choose the things that people say that your dream is supposed to be. So the dream is supposed to be, I get the big mansion over here and I get the big dream car over here and I get the big thing over there. But then you realize like, oh, what do I actually want? What do you even want from your life? And that's something I've experienced myself. Like this time last year is probably the start of the journey of being like,
questioning.
I've got my dream job, I've just finished uni, but like, I'm still sad. Like, it's not supposed to happen. I'm not still supposed to be. So it's like, it's one of them. But yeah.
How important in general is having the right baseline of parents, do you think?
I think it's probably the key factor in every
catalyst moment.
Yeah, it's the number one catalyst. It's like, it's the biggest privilege. I think I listened to both of us listened to a bunch of podcasts, and there's a podcast I listened to recently, can't even remember which one it was, but it was like, people talk about privilege, like financial, like race, whatever it is. The biggest privilege you can have is to have two loving parents that can, from the start, be like, you're good enough and you can excel and you can do good things. Because from that baseline, you can literally go into whatever you want, and then you'll never feel like, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not this, I'm not that, because you've got parents who've instilled with you from the start, like, you're good enough, go out there and capture the world and do your own thing. And that's not even just from like a woo-woo psychological bit, but from like a scientific bit. It's like, they talk about like attachment styles and like all them stuff like that when they're doing research and psychology, and it's scientific research that people who do have both parents and the parents instill in them a sense of like, it's okay that you're here and you're existing in this world and we want you to thrive. That's like the perfect outcome for like good mental health values kind of thing. So it's a scientific thing, but also like a woo-woo treaty thing as well.
Yeah.
So that's the good thing about it.
I know what you mean. It's like, it's the first time we feel any emotions or get told any life lessons or
Yeah.
skills or being wanted. Like,
Yeah.
we've spoke about that recently as well, but it's the first time you feel the need of want or someone to care for you.
Yeah.
It's the first initial feelings in life
Yeah.
as your parents. So if you don't have both, or you don't have a positive one, it's only a negative start. Not saying you can't
Yeah.
change it, because there's so many
Because
people.
that's life. Like things
Yeah.
will mess around.
Mess around.
And it's not, I think there's a book called Good Enough Parents by The School of Life. And I think the whole gist of it is that you don't have to be an amazing parent.
No.
You don't have to be an amazing person in general. You just have to try and be good enough and aim up in terms of all your values. And obviously you'll fall along the way when whatever you're doing, and your parents aren't going to be great all the time, but like, or you're not going to be great all the time in any situation that you're in, but generally speaking, as long as you're aiming up and you're trying and you're along the way, and you might fall here and there, but as long as you're on that way, then you're given a good platform for if you've got kids and for yourself as well. So that's something I try and like implement in my life, that thing of try and behave towards myself like I would if I was a parent to me. So like the thing of, you've been gifted, imagine at the start of your life, you've been gifted the opportunity to look after one person, and it's you. How do you treat that person? Like if you take yourself away from it, and the only way to do that, the best way to do it, I think, is like a mixture of unconditional love, but also like unconditional, like thriving for better, or like a constant sense of, yeah, I'm going to love you in whatever situation you're in, but keep on going, keep on going, keep on trying to do more, keep on trying to fail, and keep on trying to achieve good things. And even if you do fall, this is a conversation you have with yourself. Even if you do fall and even if you do fail, like keep on going, kind of thing.
Well, it's the best feedback loop, that, because it's, if you just praise them when they have the praise and say, you're in a great position now, I think people get comfortable. And then they start to feel they're comfortable, and you can take that with you. And even if you lose it for a bit, once you get older, you might get to what you want, and then, okay, I'm comfortable here. It's like the saying, I'm sure it's hard to wake up in silk pajamas. It's a difficult one, isn't it? So if you've been always pushed as a kid, I don't think you'll ever do that, because that's been,
it keeps you going.
Going.
Is there a situation that you've had where you felt like, I got comfortable there, or like I could have, like in retrospect, you're like, I could have done more, I could have, like it could have been anything, could have been something small, something big, but where you're like, I've kind of let myself down there a little bit, and then you've like rectified it?
Ooh, that's tough. That's a tough one. I don't know, because I feel like I wouldn't be able to say like tell a story and it'd be a big moment. I think it will be in every action I've done throughout my life, everything I've pursued and wanted to do well at it. Say it was football, say it was in a sport, say it was in the podcast. I think there's always moments where I get comfortable, and then something happens where it's like, no, you're not as good as you think you are. You're not where any point where you want to be. That's okay. But it's just that gets you back on going. And I think, shout out to my mum. She's and my dad, the two of the biggest people who are like that. They keep me on the path of being, I can't. They'll praise me, but then they'll tell me,
they'll push you as well.
They'll tell me 10 things that I did wrong and only one I did right. So it's like, are they like just
are they
doing it on
purpose?
purpose? They just, but no, it's actually helped. But I would say, I don't know about you. I don't know what your opinion is. I think it is little moments.
I think you're right in that, where it's like, there might be like big moments where it's like, I fucked up. I should have done this. But with anything, it's like incremental little bits of, I've messed up here. Let me review this, and then be like, what went wrong here, and then carry on going. And then that process might be longer or shorter, depending on how long that habit's been going on for. So whether it's healthy eating, whether it's waking up early, whatever it is, that habit will be dependent on how long it's been going on for. So if it's been going on from when you were, 10 years old, and there's a story that you tell yourself about yourself, then it'll be harder to rearrange that story. Like if you tell yourself the story of, I'm not fit, I can't be a runner, or I'm not good enough, so I won't be able to do this job. If you tell yourself that story, or you've been told yourself that narrative from a young age, it's a lot harder to retrain it. And I think you're right in saying it's incremental steps, and usually when it's something that's been so long, it's incremental, messy steps as well.
Yeah,
I think that's one thing that doesn't get like pushed enough in like the self-help and like all that jazz, like in the social media and stuff. Is that, yeah, it's good to want to develop and be better, but it's a messy process. And
you see it as a perfect process.
Yeah.
You see like, we wakes up at 5 a.m. every day.
Yeah.
That doesn't, I don't think that...
Or even little stuff like, go and read this self-help book and it's going to be great. And then you're good. You read the book and then you're sorted.
Even Atomic Habits, like, okay, you can change your habits so much to a point where it changes your lifestyle. But I think there's always going to be days where you don't. And obviously it says it's okay to miss a day, but get back onto the habit. But I think it could be longer than that. I don't even think it's a day. I think we go through seasons of our life and more stuff is important at that time. So I'm always going to be thinking and wanting to improve my health and be better physically and mentally. But then if I've got a business project like this, that's not going to stay at the same level of output that it was before I started it. So I think it's seasons. So even though you'll keep doing it, it might drop, but that might not be your habit. You've lost your habit. It's just that with your season of life you're in, your habits grew to be this.
Yeah, because sometimes you need to regress. Like you need to like just have like a proper sweaty pizza after a night out, or just like it's that saying of if you don't bend, you'll break. So it's like if you don't like give yourself some leeway to just like fuck up and be like, shit, I've messed up here. I've got paint in my face. Yeah, I've messed up.
Yeah.
Like if you don't give yourself that, like, and it comes back to parents. If you don't get that from when you're young, where your mum and dad say, yeah, it's okay to fall. It's okay to like have a bad grade in school. It's okay to maybe have a fight in school, whatever it is, as long as you're thriving to do better, then it's that thing of, you got to let yourself break a little, bend a little bit so you don't break.
Yeah, 100%. You also speak on the huge influence of your mum.
Yeah.
On the skill of patience. How important do you think it is to master this skill?
I think it's a lifelong skill, patience, and I'm nowhere near the God tier level. No. But I think it's one of the traits where, let's say I've got like bars of traits in my life.
Yeah.
I think patience is up there just because I've realized how like rough life can get if you haven't got patience, because
of course.
Life's like,
well, it's the worst.
Life's a bitch sometimes. So sometimes you need to just be like, everything around you is a bit bullshit sometimes, and like you hear people say stuff and you hear people do stupid things and things that aren't great, and things in your life just naturally mess up just from life. So to have the patience to be like, I'll go again and I'll smile through it and I'll carry on going. And obviously you won't take liberties with like where people like how people behave towards you and stuff like that, but have the patience to be like, okay, maybe they just had a bad day. That's why he honked the horn at me, or just...
Yeah, it's understanding, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like just like we're on the topic of road rage.
Yeah.
Like my partner would be like, why didn't you honk? Why didn't you beep your horn? All that. I'm like,
it's not what... Yes, I'm exactly the same.
He's literally passed already. That doesn't change the situation, and it'll only affect my heart rate.
Yeah, it only affects you. It only affects you.
It doesn't affect them because they go, get off, and then they carry on with their life anyway. So that moment only sticks with you because you've been affected.
You've let it affect you. And well, that goes on to one of the questions I had for you, is like, it's a load of questions. Like, how much forgiveness is too much forgiveness? So I'm going to give you my answer. My answer is, the best way to be is there is not a certain amount of forgiveness that you should give people. You should always give people the most amount of forgiveness as possible. But then in practice, it comes to a situation where you're like, someone murders someone, how much, obviously there's still punishment and stuff, but like, what's the level of forgiveness that is? Is there a level? What do you think?
I think it's different. It's on the narrative of the story, I think.
Yeah.
Because I was going to go into this later, but we can bring it up
Yeah.
now. It was on a different subject. It was a bit more on hindsight, and it's to do with the story. So I had two similar stories but different in the head. So the first one is he pushed an old woman in the road,
Yeah.
out the road, sorry. But the backstory was to stop her getting knocked over by a car.
Yeah.
And the other story is he helped her carry her shopping home. Once they turned the corner, he ran off with the shopping.
Yeah.
So
It's like two stories.
it's two
And
stories.
how you
One's
see it.
positive, one's negative. But unless you have the background of the story,
Yeah.
I don't think you can fully get the understanding. And I think that links
Yeah, it
into
does. Yeah.
how much forgiveness should you give.
Yeah.
Because so if somebody, you see it in film, so if somebody murders somebody out of the accountability of them murdering their child,
Yeah.
sometimes people understand, but then if there's no understanding at all, then I don't think there can be. But if there can't be, how do you ever get over it?
Yeah.
So I think no matter how bad it is or how understandable it is, I don't know if if it's understanding, it might come quicker,
Yeah.
but I think it always does come to forgiveness.
Yeah.
Because we see in the news, sadly, when kids get stabbed or killed, and we've seen it even in Liverpool, like years past, you hear it in school, but then you hear like the mum or dad be able to be like, I forgive them.
Yeah.
And you question it, but I think that's the only way they carry on with life,
Yeah.
by forgiving.
Because that's something my mum said, it'll eat you up. If you don't
It'll
forgive
eat you
people,
up,
it'll eat you up and it'll only hurt yourself. So even the small example of road rage, it's like, and you were talking about the context that you've got. So it's almost like a life hack for road rage. If you give more context for the situation, then it'll be easier for yourself. So let's say someone cuts you off, a taxi driver cuts you off. That happens all the time.
Yeah.
Taxi drivers always cut you off, by the way. It's always taxi drivers.
Yeah, just them.
Yeah. So taxi driver cuts you off and you're like, fucking love it. But then if you like wait a second and be like, maybe he's rushing because he gets paid by the hour and he needs to rush to somewhere to. It's like the more context you give it, the easier it is for your like.
Or you don't know, it might be a basic mistake.
Yeah.
And I've probably cut someone off before,
100%.
but we forget what we've done on the road.
Yeah.
And we all make mistakes. Sometimes it is just people just make complete errors, don't see ya. But then it just turns into a feud because it's like, blah, 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 this, that, where it can just be human error. Sometimes it's not, but we never know the story. So if we don't just accept it and just don't take it personal, because it's down to taking it personal.
Yeah,
I think.
that's what it is.
It's like, he's just getting at me.
Yeah.
But he's not. Like you said, it's down to him what he wants to do. And then...
Yeah, you can always put it... I think that's the thing. You can either put it down to malice or you can put it down to just them being a human being. It's like, what's more likely that they're super evil and they're out to get you? And he was looking at you, he saw your registration plate, he was like, that guy there in the Toyota Yaris, I'm going to cut him off. Was it that, or is it just he's just a human being who's just had the day?
Yeah.
And you can put that to any situation.
It can be anything.
And that, like, I think that mindset gave me so much more peace in life. And linking it back to the patience, that's what's helped me like develop that patience, because it's just like, realistically, what you can put to stupidity is what you should probably put to stupidity rather than malice. Usually it's not people being like super evil, it's just they're just a little bit stupid, like everyone's a little bit stupid.
Yeah,
so it's just a little bit of stupidity that's just happened in your day, and you just carry on with it.
And if you carry on with it and just let it go, it just makes life easier.
And it's a muscle, like that, them like psychological things, they're like muscles that you train within your brain, and the more you do it, the easier it gets. Now I don't swear at taxi drivers. I've developed it now.
So stop swearing.
Stop swearing at taxi drivers.
But around the topic of what my first question was about parents, now I want to dive even deeper. And this thought come by me hearing something recently from Kevin Hart. So I'm just going to paint the story. So basically, Kevin Hart was speaking on the topic of being a man, which he came on to talking about his own father. He was speaking about the lack of leadership and accountability his father had to him when he was growing up, which he made it clear he wasn't a bad father. These were just mistakes he had when being a parent. which Kevin Hart went on to say, if he didn't do these things wrong, I wouldn't know how to do them right. So this made me think, do we actually learn from the values our parents try to install in us? Or do we learn from the mistakes our parents have done? Or even the cards they are dealt to try and not do the same thing or go on the same path as them?
Yeah. That's a really good question. And it's like
I just
a
want to know your
double-edged
thoughts.
sword, really,
Yeah.
where
Because I have examples.
you either have the great upbringing where everything's perfect and you know exactly what a dad should look like or a mum should look like, or you have one that's not so great and you're like, I know exactly what a dad or a mum shouldn't do, kind of thing. And it's like, what would you rather have, kind of thing?
But then, if you have a too easy of life, I feel like you grow up with too much, being too comfortable. And then you get into the real world and you realise it's not that comfortable. And then you don't know how to deal with adversity.
Yeah.
So I think that is an imperfection of the parents because they haven't showed you that. So that's, you might not say a mistake, but they haven't shown you that. And I just like the view of how he was to say what his dad didn't do for him, actually showed him how to do it when he's a dad.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about examples because how many times do we hear athletes talk about, oh, my parents could have been a professional, but they never got to the point they got an injury or mentally they weren't at that point. But then the son or daughter did it.
Yeah.
So is that them learning from the mistakes or is that them just having the talent to do it?
Yeah. Well, it's that thing. How many Chris Williamson podcasts have we watched with where they've got athletes on there to talk about like the greatest people in the world?
Yeah.
And it's like the greatest people, like the people at the very top, whether it's Michael Jordan, LeBron James, the greatest politicians, all them people, usually when you look at their background, it's like super messy.
Yeah,
and
that's what I mean.
It's completely lacking of love. And it's like almost like to get to that like pinnacle is, well, we call it the pinnacle, we'll get to the top. You have to have like an immense amount of pain. So then it comes back to comparison. So let's say you're a younger aspiring basketball player or whatever, but then you're like, I wish I was like Michael Jordan. I wish I was like LeBron James. Like if you truly wish you were like LeBron James, the means that you also have to wish all the childhood trauma. You're gonna take that with you
because you can't.
All the failure, I'm gonna take that with me.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense to just be like, I just wish for all the good basketball stuff and all the fame. It's like
because you can't get it.
Doesn't work like that.
Life doesn't work.
You take the horrible stuff as well, and then once you see stuff like that, it's actually a quote my mum said to me. It's like, if everybody puts their keys on the table, you'd be very quick to take your keys back because you realise that everyone's got some shit on their keys and they've got massive keys with a bunch of useless stuff, and you'd be like, I'm happy with my door key and my Toyota Yaris key. Because they might have a Lambo key, but they've also got a key to a cellar to a graveyard of some mad stuff. So it's that thing of once you realise to get to a certain pinnacle kind of thing, and I do that to pinnacle because it changes how you see the elites of the world or the amazing people, because
they're just human.
It's the thing, it's like if you can't be happy in a coffee shop with a coffee, talk to your mate, then you're not going to be happy in a Lamborghini. It sounds like cringy, but it's like...
No, but it's not, is it? Like, there's so many... I've heard it on... Bugsy Malone was a great one. He was going on about, when he was on Chris Williams' podcast, he was going on about how he drove off the forecourt in his brand new Lamborghini, all souped up, everything, and nothing changed. He thought he'd have a feeling of unwavering strength.
I'm powerful now,
Powerful, all these emotions, but nothing actually changed except his bank balance went down. And then that made him realise he's still going to go through them emotions.
Yeah. I don't blame people for having the desires, and I've got desires sometimes. Like I'm not some like massive guru who's like I have peace in the world and I don't have any desires. I want a Lamborghini. I want like you can still want these things, but it's like
them, but it's understandable.
Being careful and like consider about what's the real deep reason why I want them. And if you're honest with yourself and honest in like your own deficiencies, like maybe I'm a little bit self-conscious, and I've always had like a thing where I want people to notice me and I want people to like me, and that's a normal thing because we're social beings and we care what people think. Like you can say as much as you want, you don't care what people think. Everybody cares what people think. It's just what game you're playing, and it's the thing of I can't remember what the book was called, but it's the one about mimetic desires, and it's talking about how everyone chooses the social game they play. Everyone's playing a game though. Everyone's playing a game, but everyone chooses the social game. So you might be playing the social game of I want to get rich and famous, and then that's my game. It might be I want to be a Buddhist guru and go into the Himalayas and pray for 24 hours a day. It's like everyone chooses a social game, but you choose. You have to choose. But if you don't choose, you'll be a slave to everyone's desires, kind of thing, and that will just be messy in your head.
Of course. It's a weird one because I could basically ask you now, what is the backing behind you want a Lamborghini? Do you know what I mean? Like, why do we actually want these desires? Like the question around human behavior that I was going to ask you was, what do you think motivates people to do something or want to achieve something, even just to have the goal in the first place? Like, why do we want a mimetic desire? Why do we want to achieve this? Is it truly for ourselves or is it for others? Because when I was thinking, I'll get your opinion now. When I was thinking, I feel like we do everything so people represent us the way we want to be represented most.
Yeah. Well, that's so. Cause I think my biggest interest within the past year has been, and I think generally in my life has been human behavior. It's so interesting why people do the things that they do. So it's got me to read books in terms of evolutionary psychology, and it's been so interesting because once you see it, it's like eating a red pill or taking the red pill, and you're like, oh my god, I can see this everywhere. So
you can't you?
The evolutionary psychology suggests that our body doesn't want us to be happy; it wants us to reproduce. That's what it wants us to do. It wants us to have sex and then bring it on to the next generation. That's it. That's why we have certain desires for social status. That's why we have certain desires for eating types of food that are rich in carbohydrates and rich in sugars, because back when we didn't have processed foods, to get a berry or to get a fruit or to get foods that's rich in certain substances is like rare.
Well, it was so unattainable.
Yeah, it was so unattainable. So if you see a berry, you're going to eat all the berries.
You'd be running towards.
But like now you've got donuts, you've got Starburst, you've got all this jazz. So, and it's super processed. It's more sugar than you've ever had in anything. It like changes. It changes the game, but we're still the same Homo sapiens from back in the day. We've just now got cars and
the design
caps.
never goes though, does it? So you have a donut one day, you'll be like, oh, I'll be done for a donut for now. 2 days later, you're like, I need a donut. I need the donut. And it's just a constant circle, and it never changes. Like, I got told something interesting, an interesting way of thinking by somebody, and they were talking about your income, and they were saying life stays the same, things just get bigger.
Yeah.
So your car upgrades, your house gets bigger, your holidays get bigger, they get more holidays. But you actually never change.
Yeah.
That's the crazy interesting thing. So when you buy your first car to when you buy, if you get to a point where you can afford a Lamborghini, nothing's changed. You're still in that same driver's seat driving. It's just people view you differently. You live with your mum, you live on your own. The only difference from having a huge house to having a small house is you've got to clean it more.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
True. Yeah. And that's so interesting because it's the context that you give the situation.
Because we always just strive for more money.
Because I can be in my Toyota Yaris and they'd be like, look across, I see a Tesla. I'm like, I wish I was in a Tesla. But then, or like, oh, I wish I was in that Lambo truck or whatever. But then you look across and you're like, I've only spent 50 quid on petrol, Well, maybe the Tesla will be cheaper, but you look across to the Lambo truck or the G-Wagon, they've spent whatever on petrol. I was like, okay, I'm driving. That switching like ideology of maybe it's not so bad.
I think just understanding.
The situation is not so bad, and you can still thrive to have a Lambo truck.
Happy in the situation.
Being happy.
I think the thing we're trying to talk about to try and be is to be happy in the situations you are, and not dwell about where you are and be so distant of like just seeing what you want in the future, not being present, because we either are too much in the past or too much in the future. We're never here now. We're always this happened to me in the past. I don't want it to happen again. I want this in the future. But we're never like, I'm happy in my car now. I'm happy doing this. I'm happy doing that.
Yeah.
Because if you woke up tomorrow and someone crazy just swapped your car and you got given a Lamborghini, I don't think anything would change.
Probably crash it because I'd be like, whoa. I'm not used to the speed.
I don't think anything actually would change.
No. I think after a week.
A week or what?
You'd be like, oh, this is just a car.
I actually don't think anything would change.
Well, it's an age-old tale that like you get the thing and you realize, oh, it's just a thing.
It's not the
thing. And it's because it's built into our genetics. It's built into what's in terms of how dopamine works.
Yeah.
Dopamine's about the journey bit. Like you don't get the dopamine from eating the donut. You get the dopamine from thinking there's a donut there, I want to eat it. So
it's actually achieving. Yeah. But I think it's the journey to getting it. So even though it's crazy, we're just talking about the donut, it's the journey to getting the donut. It's not, I think the enjoyment, when you eat donuts, you've had it.
Yeah.
So once you've had your first bite, it's over, you've done it. I think it's even just getting in your car, going to the place to get the donut, opening it up, putting it in your hand. That's the enjoyment. I don't think actually eating it is the enjoyment. Because you taste it and you enjoy the taste. But I think the actual... Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Because it's that same thing. Like, this is a little bit like a different context, but like you speak to so many people, like you speak to girls, for example, and they're like, the best bit about going out is getting ready with all their mates and stuff. Yeah. And like listen to music, doing their makeup and stuff like that. And it's like, it's because the build-up to it. And it's like with anything, like the build-up to the Champions League final, the build-up to whatever. Yeah. It's because that's the build-up it's like Christmas. Christmas Day is good, but like, it's the build-up where you listen to songs. I think Christmas Day is one of the most overhyped. It definitely, like, it is. New Year's Eve is even worse. Like, New Year's Eve, it's meant to be the best party ever. Like, everyone's meant to be at this place, and it's the best party ever, and it's gonna go off midnight, and then we've all got written down all our plans for January that we all never keep. Yeah. It's just so... But the actual enjoyment is before that. Yeah. Like, have you ever felt low on like Christmas Day and on like New Year's Eve and then even your birthday? But then I've stopped it now because I've started just to enjoy the moment of my birthday and not expect. I think when we expect the day to be good, the day actually doesn't. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I know what you mean. It's the expectation you give it and determines how you feel about it. So you big up on New Year's Eve, you're like, it's going to be the maddest gaff, going to have the maddest tunes on, it's going to be the sickest thing. Yeah. But all you end up doing is being squashed like a sardine, being around sweaty people and paying 90 quid for an Uber home. Yeah. It's like, it's never worth it.
That is all it is.
But you big it up in your head, and it's like with anything, you big up the situation in your head. And it's not to say to be like pessimistic, but it's to have like a more realistic outlook on situations, to understand, like, to make it easier for yourself to enjoy your life, because I
think it's just to let it come. Let it come. Like, I got that feeling when I first started the podcast. Yeah. The goal was to do the first episode, and once I got the first episode, after it, it was just like, it was a nothing feeling. Like, creating it to the point was, and then once I realised I'm never going to get it from the one, it's just enjoying each episode.
I bet you had the rush before, before that first episode, you had the rush before it though,
you do. And I think it's the perfect segue into last year. You got your dream job. Yeah. And you felt something was missing. Yeah. Why was this and what was it?
I think it's that thing of being more conscious about your desires. And obviously, I love my job now, and it's like, I get to watch footy for a living. It's like the perfect thing. It's what I've been building up towards since I was like 15, 16.
So for a little bit of context, what is it you do?
I do recruitment analysis and loans analysis. So basically writing reports, watching videos of games. Basically just watching football. So I'm a bit of a fraud in terms of life, but yeah, but that's basically my dream job, and I'm doing it. Yeah. And you do it for a bit, but then you realize it's just bigger problems. You know what I mean? It's just different problems. And more importantly, forget the job, like within yourself, whatever you feel in terms, whether it's sadness, depression, happiness, anxiety, the situation that you're in terms of the external stuff, whatever situation you're in, it's not going to change.
Oh no.
And I think it's one of them things where you have to experience it to really feel it, to make the change. Like you wouldn't have been able to tell me 3 months before I got the job, be like, you're going to get this job and nothing's really going to change. Like if you told me that, I'd be like, shut up, you idiot, give me the job.
Yeah.
Go away. But then once you actually get the job or get the thing or get whatever it is, you realize, because I got the job and it coincided with me getting the car. So I'd been doing lessons, all that, and then got the car. So I was like, I'm gonna have the car, I'm gonna have the job, and then I'm gonna just, this is my life.
It's amazing. Yeah,
but then you realize, no, all the stuff, all the issues that, I can only speak for myself, all the issues that I've had in my life or I've had like psychologically in terms of that would affect my behavior and like feeling towards the world. Those are internal things and those won't change from anything external.
Yeah,
it takes like humility and a rigorous look at yourself to be like, this is stupid or shit about yourself. This is not even your voice. This thing that's been saying, that's in the back of your head, that's not even your voice. That's the teacher from whatever it is, or that's a whatever. That's a not parent, but like it could be any voice. It could be anybody, a friend or whatever. This negative thing in the back of your head, that's not you. And then it's doing little iterances of, this is something that I feel or think, and is it really something that's fruitful for me, or is it something that's holding me back in terms of just living a peaceful life? And then the more you do that, because the start of that journey is difficult, and it's a lifelong journey. So it's the thing of, you either become a slave to your desires and thoughts, and have the difficulty of that, or you have the difficulty of being like, okay, I can deal with my desires and thoughts, but there's so many and they're ever going, but this is the difficulty of that. So it's the difficulty of being like, I'm going to face the dragon and I'm going to try and get the gold behind the dragon, or I'm going to just let it kill me each time. It's like, either way, it's going to be difficult, but it's better to choose your struggle and choose your adventure rather than someone choose it for you, or just be a slave to the situation and a slave to your biology kind of thing. Because it comes back to the donut thing. So it's easy. Everyone's had the desire to want to eat the donut because it's a normal human thing, but it takes I don't even say it's willpower, because you get to a point where you realize you get to see steps ahead. So it's a thing of, okay, if you think this, let's say you have a time frame of 24 hours, you think, okay, I'm going to eat the donut because the donut's here and I like donuts and I'm Homer Simpson, so I'm going to eat the donuts. But then, okay, maybe you think a month ahead and you're like, okay, I have this fitness journey. I want to feel healthy. I want to feel better about myself. If I eat this donut, then it's going to push me back in my journey. Yeah. So then I'm not going to do it. And obviously the donut's figurative. It's not a real donut. Or it could be a real donut. It's just an example, but it's the thing of your short-term desires. And I think we live in a society that hails the short-term desire.
Oh, of course. Everything is wanting it now, especially with social media. It's just the point of, we want the quick success. We want everything. And it's back to the patience. Yeah. It's the people who are able to accept and actually enjoy and be happy where they are now. Yeah. Will actually excel quicker and easier because the path's so much calmer. And I feel like you can see, even though you don't know the end of the tunnel, and there never will be, I think you can always see light when you understand and you're happy and you're just acceptive of what you've got now. Yeah.
It's reframing your aspirations. So it's not, I'm going to get to here and then it's done. It's, I'm going to get to the top of the mountain and then there's always a bigger mountain. But that journey of going up to the mountain, don't take it as nothing. No. That whole journey, that whole messy journey of where you're failing, where you're getting back up and you're doing it again, that is life. That is the bit. That is the bit that you want. That's the bit where you have the memories, the stories. That's the bit that you tell your friends. That's the bit where you're like, oh, I remember this and all that jazz, the good stuff, the bad stuff, the weird stuff, the not so weird stuff. All that is the story. That is the life. But it's easy in the world that we live in now and the age we are now to frame it as like, that person's got that, I want that. And and just be like, okay, if I have that, then I'm gonna be happy. And
You get that,
I don't
and
blame people for having, like, you see people like the suicide rates are the highest or whatever among men, and you see like people are more depressed than ever. It's like I don't blame people for being in that situation because it's a product of the society, and obviously there's like a little bit of agency that you've got to take within yourself to be like, I need to get out of this rut. And generally, I think you can only change when it comes from your own like canon moment where it's like something's fucked up in my life here. I need to sort my shit out. Generally, I think that's how it goes. But I don't blame young people for feeling lost or being lost or people for taking them lives up because like it's tough. And obviously I don't want to say I don't blame people for people taking their lives because it's a serious thing. But I get why people can get to the point where they're like, I'd rather not be here because I can't reach these unattainable desires that's
and
been
there's
set
no
up.
understanding that, because they might not got it in the first so many years. It might be 2, it might be 3, it might be 4. No matter, it might be a year. But because we only see the positives, it's the people who have done it. You only see the moment now.
Yeah. Like for you, I'm asking you a question. For you, what was like your introduction when you were younger to like setting goals? Did someone teach you how to set goals properly or like how to achieve? Because you get asked in school like, oh, what do you want to be when you're older? Or what do you want to do? But like, you never really get taught like, how do you properly set goals for them to be lucrative throughout your whole life? Not just, I get to 20 and my goal is to get to uni and then what? You know what I mean?
I think it all starts with a motive.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can get told, to be honest, because you can't understand it until there's a motive to want to do that motive.
Yeah.
So, this might be mad, but the first time I really got a proper motive was when we first went into lockdown, and it was the Bulls, the Netflix documentary on the Chicago Bulls when Michael Jordan,
Oh yeah.
Pippen. That was the first initial time where it was like, even though it was basketball, I saw the work ethic, saw everything, and that opened mind even further.
Something captured
me, and then I put it into pursuing my own motives. But I only think I do agree with you. It could be told and open to people, but I don't think we can realise it until we have the motive to actually.
Yeah, that makes sense, to be fair. Like, and I think I probably agree with that more than what I initially said, because everyone has like their own purpose for doing it. Like you start this podcast and it's almost like there's just something within, I don't know what to call it, but it's like there's just something that like calls to you and said, this Michael Jordan podcast has hit you in a certain way where like it's affected you, it's grabbed you, and that's lashed onto whatever motivations you have, and that's built out and it's flowered into this podcast kind of thing.
It's always been different things. It could be, you could have wanted to do one thing, you could have wanted to do another thing. For me now, it's the podcast.
Yeah.
The ideas behind all 3 of them didn't change, but it's just the practice you're doing changes.
100%.
And it's the same with you. I think you are very driven and want to improve. So you will work tirelessly at your job to do the best at your job and everything you do around it. But whatever projects you have or want to pursue in the future, the idea behind it and the work effort and the motive behind it stays the same. It's just the actual practice is different.
Yeah. But I think, what were you going to say?
No, but I'm just saying, but that's the way it always is.
Yeah.
So if you went from playing football, you wanted to be the best footballer, you totally change roles and you go into starting a business. It's not even a sport.
Yeah.
But the ideas behind what you were doing football for carry into the next one.
It's like it's the same, I can't even say the same probably. It's the same ethics that you have. So I think it's the thing of, if you're raising a child, these hypothetical children that we're raising, if you're raising a child, you want to instill with them the ethics, like the foundations,
and then whatever,
so that they can then explore in whatever avenues it is,
and they can carry them in whatever door that is. It can be anything, but if it all stems from the learnings, the teaching, and then the practice just comes with it, because you can never do nothing without the practice.
Because there is something, I don't know what it is, but there's something that everybody grabs onto, where it's like a calling. Like everybody who talks about like who's done anything amazing, it's like something called upon me to do this or something like it's just something in the air that like it's like maybe it's like just human creativity that like once you have them foundations, you can apply it to everything.
Anything, yeah, of course. You've got to look at experts' pathways from the beginning because we forget they also came from somewhere. They never just arrived.
Yeah. And going back to the social media thing, that makes it so much harder. Well, I guess it's harder and easier because we're in an age where we can look back at things as well.
We're lucky.
We're lucky where we can read autobiography, we can go back and see things, but like on the face value, you see Instagram, you see all that jazz, and it's like it's all the front stuff. It's not the real kind of thing, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
It's like what I actually, this might be a little bit off topic, but it was just my own personal opinion. What I used to hate about history was all the huge factors that happened in history. A lot of the time, we never actually get much history on the factors from, say, a person's upbringing or what led them into doing it. We just hear either the success or the failure or whatever they did.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, what was Hitler's childhood like? If Hitler had a nice dad, would he have still been evil?
That's what I mean. So and maybe people do really deep research to look for it. Because if you look for anything, I think you can find it. But we know, well, we all did history in school, and you know the factors of like what happened at World War II, what the Nazis did. You know all that. You know Hitler's a person then.
Yeah.
But you don't know him back.
Yeah.
We never learn how we understand the reasons why he did it, because I think if we were able to understand the reasons from when he was a younger male, a younger man, what his parents installed him, what he went through, I think we'd understand the situation better in the future. Not saying we understand it, just saying we can understand motives.
Yeah, I think what you just touched on is so important, I think, but doesn't really get like highlighted. I think people just assume, he did that bad, he's evil.
He's evil. Yeah.
It's like, oh no, it's not that simple.
No,
it's not that simple.
Not. Like no one's born a devil, are they? Like,
let's look into it. Like, I think to realistically, like, actually make change in society and be like, okay, we're striving for good here. We're trying to make things as perfect as possible. We need to like intensely analyze evil and analyze bad things in the world and be like, what are all the factors related to this situation? What gets it to a point where someone thinks I want to commit mass genocide? Or what gets it to a point where someone wants to be a terrorist? Or what gets it to a point where someone wants to like commit harm to someone? It's like, it's not as simple as they're bad.
Yeah. It can't.
It's not, and I think it's lazy as well. Yeah. Like, you don't really want to solve the problem if you're not really digging into what does evil look like, how is it formed, what are the situations about it, and like how do we prevent it? Because if you really want to prevent something, like if it's like a doctor turning up, it's like someone's sick and he was born sick, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
Like, let's not do that. He's just got a cold. How did he get the cold? What was he doing? What type of stuff he's eating?
They ask them questions.
Does he have the right antibodies in his body? Like,
did you go on holiday recently? Have you been here? Have you done that?
But like, I think it's normal to not want to ask the questions about evil, because it's like the deepest, like, worst form of evil. It's like, it's tough to talk about. It's tough to have to talk about, like, genocide and like people doing corruption and like fraud and all that stuff. But like, if we're actually gonna have a future that's better for everybody and gonna prevent the certain things, because I don't think once someone's murdered someone, like we've got at them at the wrong spot. Like,
that's it.
Send them to 25 years in prison. No. Obviously, you need punishment.
Still do that, but it's like, let's understand way back
what happened, so we can prevent it. So
prevent another person doing the same act.
100%. Because I started reading a book recently, like very recently, like 2 days ago, called How We Gather. So I was talking about like basically how humans gather, why we gather together, whether it's in a room watching football, whether it's to eat food at a dining table in general. And it had an interesting bit in the introduction about courtrooms. So there's a courtroom somewhere in America where they've like they've had a look at it and they like stripped it down and be like, we're getting certain people doing certain crimes in this community, but what do we really want? Are we just going to incarcerate them and send them to prison? Or are we actually going to have a look at what is the situation that these young men and young women are in that's getting them into the situations where we're having to send them off all the time? So they've stripped down their whole judicial system. And in the certain county, I think they've, first of all, like they changed the colours of the courtroom. They've put the judge on eye level with the person. And they've almost like give the judge, like, when they comes in, give them a case study of like family background, school background, all that, just so that they can have less people going into prison just to be like, because just putting people away isn't doing anything. It doesn't
change, the cycle just keeps going.
And it was so interesting because it was like, from doing it for over like 5-10 years, they had so many little arrests and they had so many little, what's it called? Like lifelong prison sentences, I think. And it was so interesting because like that's such a good way to look at it, because imagine someone 18 had a horrible upbringing, maybe dad abandoned them early, mum was there, mum was a drug dealer, hung around the bad crowds, like, and it tailors all this time, and then they get to a point,
and the only influence you ever have
crime, drugs, get to the courtroom, and the judge is judging you, but like judging you not in terms of like I'm going to take in all situations so that I can prevent this in the future. It's judging you as, you are this individual, you're evil, let me send you away. But rather than doing that, they were smart enough in this county in America, I think, either America or Canada, and they were like, let's make the courtroom, so let's, even the architecture of the room, let's make it seem not friendly, but like, so that we're eye on eye, so that you can actually have a conversation with this person
and
to understand motivation, and then to be able to see motivation from their backstory and history, to then make implementations in the society and in the community to change how life's actually lived in there, rather than just, you're bad, grab him, put him in court, shout at him from above with your weird hat on, and then send him to jail. Rather than doing that, like actually having a conversation with the person, seeing their background, and like actually doing it properly. And I think this book's like, I'm only like a few pages into it, but I was like, this is so interesting. But that's such an interesting point of, you need to understand people to be able to get anything from your life and their life as well.
And then that's back to what we were talking about, that, okay, we've just talked about all the evil, but in general, if you look up to somebody, I'm not fully saying it's wrong, but if you look up to somebody now, where they're at in the position now, like say an expert, like you just said in the quote, it feels, well, I've put down, if you look at them at the position they're in now, it can kind of feel unobtainable. Like, it's so far out of reach that you'll never get there. And that you've put them on a pedestal straight away, that they're better than you. Where they're not. They've just done it more than you.
It doesn't feel achievable, but because you haven't got the context of they've done it for millions of hours, they've had millions of failures, they've had millions of situations to be like, this is what I need to do, this is what I don't need to do. Whereas you just see, they're on top of the world, they're doing all this, they're doing all that, they're having these meetings with these people, they're having these situations, these dinners, they're doing all this stuff, but you don't see the little incremental developments in their life kind of thing. And it's so hard. I don't think it's something that we should like look at lightly, because
no, of course,
if we actually want to make a change, we need to look at, why does social media and like the general world now fuel that type of narrative in life?
Don't we? But I think we always have. Because we've always put people on pedestals, because we always hear the stories of kings and queen and jesters playing up to the kings and queens to get there, or to be, well, it's a knights again, isn't it? We always hear about the top knights and people aiming up to be the king's guard and stuff like that. So no matter what time of life it's been in, there's always been that.
Well, it's in our biology to play the status game. Everyone's playing a status game of some sort. You choose what you have as status. So if one person's status is, I want to be a millionaire and a yacht and have a bunch of girls on a yacht and have all the riches and have the loveliest dinners, you can play that status game. Or someone plays the status game of, I want to be the best husband and father and have be thriving in a community where I'm supportive of everyone and they're supportive of me and everything's fruitful. You can play that status game as well. So it's just about the game that you play. But I think the modern world skewed us towards a status game that actually doesn't help us. And the all the underlying research and numbers show that people are less happier.
Yeah. Well, we just see, it's just the moment. So you go on social media, you see people you look up to, you just see the moment they're in now.
Literally.
You see everything they've got and everything you desire.
And it's edited.
It's edited and it's just everything they want. And then another idea that's really interesting is if you copy a blueprint of somebody else too much, the best outcome is being the second best version of them.
Yeah.
Which I think so many people are trying to do. Like, you see it on so many influencers now. They copy what the top influencers are doing now, and even clothing brands. So we see loads. I wear streetwear. You wear streetwear. You see loads of brands that have broken and done amazing stuff. Now there's so many brands underneath that copy the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's always but you're never going to be better than them.
Yeah. You just be the worst. You just be the second best copy.
You can only get to be in the
You'd be the second best copy. Yeah.
And I don't know if you try and practice it, but I just try and practice of becoming the best version of me.
Yeah.
Because then that's going to have the best outcome for me.
Yeah. 100%. I try and practice it too, but I think it's important that we outline practicing it. The process of practicing it looks like me falling a bit short and me being like, oh my God, I wish I had this, I wish I had that. Yeah. And then checking yourself. That's the process of practicing, is checking yourself when you do have that desire, because it's a normal human desire. Yeah. But it's almost like honing your desires to align with the status game that you want to play. So rather than being like, oh my God, no, I wish I had looked like this or did that or had them clothes, it's you check yourself and you're like, oh no, hold up, what game am I playing here? Okay, let me play the right game that I actually want to be towards. That's going to give me long-term, like, fruitful longevity in my life, compared to just being like a slave to my short-term whims. So that's the process of practice, and I think that's an important process to go through, because it's the only one that will make you happy. Because ultimately, if you keep on chasing desires that, one, aren't yours, and two, aren't going to make you happy, they'll be like, because imagine being in a situation where you've achieved all these amazing things and it's like, I don't even want this.
You don't even want it.
All this hard work, you didn't even want it.
You don't even want it. It was someone else's dream, but it just looked good.
Yeah, it looked good from the outside. It was shiny.
And I think we don't go for our own because we're too scared of the failure, because it's never been written. There's no blueprint. Like, no offense to people who do it, and some of the content's great, but I hate seeing thumbnails and videos like top 10 ways to make 10k or here's how to get 1 million subscribers in 3 steps. And I don't think there is a playbook. I don't think there's no playbook. No, the reason somebody got to somewhere, I think you can learn lessons, but I don't think you can copy. Back to the blueprint, I don't think you can copy someone else's blueprint, because the blueprint's never going to be the same.
Well, that's
in whatever practice you do.
That's true. And like, even if you just look at it like scientifically on like a technical term, you're the only person with your specific DNA in your specific situation, with your specific parents, with your specific environment. So in terms of like a process way of thinking, it doesn't make sense for me to use your situation for mine, because I've got my own specific situation. And if I'm going to develop my specific situation, maybe I can have a look at it and maybe see, okay, iterations of this might be able to apply to me. And then that's part of the like product testing almost within yourself. But like, you've got to have like almost the theory of mind to be like, okay, this is me. This is my situation. This is my specific DNA. This is me in my world. I've only got me.
Yeah.
So the only way I can develop me is not to look at other people and be like, I'm going to do all this and then I'm going to be a billionaire. It's like, you've got to look at yourself and be like, what are the things that I can change about myself? Because you're the common denominator in everything that you do.
Yeah,
in everything that you do, you're the common denominator. Yeah. So you have the power to, that's the only thing you can control is yourself. Of course. It sounds cringy, but it's like, it's the truth.
No, but it is like, one thing that I really picked up on there, and it was like, here's another point why we can't just copy a blueprint of somebody else, is your environment. Because I always say you can never get to where you want to go on your own. You've got to have others. And there is no chance ever. It's not just your DNA and that you're you. No, you're not going to have the same people in your life that the person that you want to strive towards and desire to be had.
Yeah.
So the friends they had, the mum and dads, the lessons that they installed, the location where they grew up, it's never
not gonna happen.
It's never gonna be copy and paste. It's always gonna be completely different.
Yeah.
Maybe one lesson that they learned as a kid and you learned is the same, but it's completely different. The culture's different, the way of living's different, the time. So someone might be 10 years older than you. The time's completely changed. So the way they got to where they are to the way the process is now.
Yeah, because even like with you, like there's obviously so many more podcasts now. So you starting now is different to Chris Williamson starting then, or
anybody.
Anybody
if
who
you think like, okay, I think Joe Rogan started podcasting. I think he is the main guy who started podcasting, and until him, podcasts were just non-video.
Yeah.
Nobody did videos, and now people are doing 4K cinematic shots with 10 different angles. With people are putting episodes in cinemas. So look at the growth and the change, and there'll be something again. So you can't
you can't cut woods.
I just think it's impossible to copy a blueprint. I think you can get motives from somebody that they show that it's possible. So that's the one thing good I think about having people to look up to with desires is it shows motives that it's possible to do it. But I don't think we should copy their blueprint because we can never have their blueprint.
Yeah, it gives you the green light to be like, okay, I can do that. And I think that's why role models are important.
That's why they are important.
You want to be able to see, and you have to be able to see, okay, that is possible.
Yeah.
But it's that thing, as you were saying with Joe Rogan, I remember during lockdown, like binge watching like some like Joe Rogan, the Joe Rogan Experience episode 1. It's like, obviously it's a way different, but it's the same essence. And he talks about it. It's like, the reason I do this is because I want to talk to people I'm interested in, and I want to talk about things I'm interested in.
Of course.
And from the start, it's been that, and he's just going on there, having a laugh and joke and talk to people that he likes. And it's the same from Joe Rogan Experience episode 1 to 1052 because he's kept that consistency. So
that's another thing. You can't be, if you're trying to be somebody else, you can't be consistent because you're never going to upkeep it.
Yeah.
You might be able to act and be that person for 10 weeks of whatever you're doing, but you can't upkeep.
Yeah, you can't act forever. And the pitfalls of acting forever means that you're going to get to a point where like, I've got this whole life that isn't mine, that it's just a mask.
Oh, I think that happens.
It's the life of the mask.
I think that happens in relationships. I think that happens with friends. And I think that's why people are now trying to be on the life of lying towards doing it because it's easy at the beginning, but then you've got to upkeep it. And then like you said, you realise, oh God, I don't even want to be this person, but I've gone too far in when I can't go out.
The mask is, and I don't blame people because everyone's done it. Everyone's been in the mask and just been like, I'm gonna sit here and do what everyone else does. And it's like, it's almost like human like essence and behavior to want to just be, I'm gonna just be here, do what everyone else does, and that'll be fine. But it takes like, it's that thing of facing the fear and facing the dragon and facing the horrible thing of just being like, let me take the mask off. What does it actually look like? Oh shit, it's messed up. But once you take it off and look at it, you can be like, okay, I can see exactly where it's gone wrong here. And then throw it away and be like, let me just be me. Or let me just take off because people put on loads of masks in a bunch of different situations. But to get to the bottom of it, you've got to take them off.
And then learn from them.
And the only way you can take them off is by having the courage to be like, I'm going to look at this and be like, okay, this is it. It's ugly, it's horrible, it's disgusting. But it's part of me and it's been part of me, and accepting that and being like, this mask has been part of me, but now I'm going to throw it away. And I think that's difficult as well, because it's like, if you've had a mask on for 15 years, that's been you for 50. That's been 50. That's been you.
People think you're that for 15 years.
It's super glued and concreted on. It's on your face, so it's going to be difficult to get it off.
Now I want to go into failure. Only way to become an expert at something is to fail. What's your opinion on failure? Like, I think people think or say, oh, failure is not a thing. We shouldn't view failure as a thing. But I do, because I feel like it's the best way of learning.
Yeah. I think it's something that I've had to deal with, and like it's something that was part of my mask
Yeah.
that I've had to deal with. Like,
I think it's part of everyone's mask.
it's like the acceptance that it's not going to be perfect and you are going to fail, and to not be like, because I failed, I'm not worth it. To be able to be like, yeah, I failed and I'm human, so let's crack on. Let's carry on going. And it's something it's something that you deal with day to day, because it's the thing of wanting to show that you've got a certain amount of like status and like power. I don't feel pain. I don't feel failure. It's like, that's like a thing, because I think it's just, I don't know if it's a man thing or a male thing or a human thing. It's probably a human thing to just be like, I can just brush it off and it doesn't matter to me. But like, it's the perfectionism of, I can't fail, because if I fail, then I'm not enough. But being able to just take that mask off and be like, yeah, I can fail. And it's not even failure, it's just another attempt.
Yeah.
It's only failure if I stop then. If like,
Yeah,
it sounds cringy, but like, it's, if I stop then it's failure. But if I carry on going, it's just Mark 2, Mark 3, Mark 4.
And it's just a lesson.
Yeah, it's just a lesson. And you can get through it.
Why do you think people hide away from it? Like, why do you think so many people hide away from the word fail, or say it's not a word, or even why do we think failure is viewed negatively? Because I think it is.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's because it's difficult to face the things that you know are like fundamental in how you see the world. So, and whether they're good or bad. So coming back to facing the mask, it's tough to face the mask. It's tough to be like, I've messed up here. It's not easy, because everyone wants to be great at whatever they're doing. Everyone wants to be good in their own certain way. So it's tough to face the mask and be like, this is what I am. This is what I've done. That's the thing of like being a beginner in anything. Being a beginner takes a lot of humility, because it requires to be like, have no pretense and just be like, yeah, I'm here. I'm gonna mess up and carry on doing it. And I'm at the very like bottom of the totem pole of expertise, but I'm still gonna carry on going because I'm a beginner. And I think it's difficult for people to look at failure as just another iteration, because when you tell yourself, I want to have the dream, the pinnacle dream, which is the dream that's based on your short-term desires of, I'm gonna have the biggest house and the biggest whatever, and the greatest thing, when you lean into the short-term desires, lean into the hedonistic desires, and lead into what you think is long-term for that, it makes you in a position where you're almost bound to fail. And failure is harder to look at. If you're on the pathway that you know deep down isn't great, failure hurts even more, because you're like, I'm failing on something I don't want to do. And that's happening for a lot of people, and it's happened for me, it's probably happened for you, it's happened for everybody. So having like the humility to be like, I've failed at this, it is difficult, but it's essential if you're ever going to live a life that you're going to look back and be like, I'm happy with this.
Well, it's the only way to ever get to that point.
Yeah.
It's learning. It's constantly, all you can do is learn from them. And I think you can't get anything without failing.
Yeah.
I just think it's impossible, because if it was so easy, and I say this all the time, like I could have this recorded, if it was so easy to do it, you wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Because there's no enjoyment, there's no factor of working towards it, because you'd just be good at it already.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's back to the point of, it's not getting the donut, it's not having it, it's that journey of getting it.
Yeah, it's getting the donut and choosing the right donut.
Yeah.
Choose the right donut. So it's, let's say they make like a super sick, let's say they change the donut into a salmon and cream cheese bagel that's like super healthy. If you chase the salmon cream cheese bagel, you can have that once a week, because it's a good substitute for the bagel. It's the better version that you can carry on having in your life, because it's healthy, it's got protein, it's got carbs, it's got all the good stuff. It's not enough saturated fats and sugars like the donut. But if you choose the healthy bagel life rather than the donut life, then you can carry on chasing that desire, because it's not a thing of get rid of all your desires.
No, of course
that's not possible.
No.
choose the
Why
right
would you want to?
desires and cut away from all the desires that lead towards the short term. So it's the thing I said before where I think it was the book Why Buddhism is True, where it links together Buddhist teachings and scientific research. And it's like your brain and your biology doesn't want you to be happy. It wants you to reproduce and eat as many nutrients as possible. So that side of it is the short-term hedonistic bit where it's like, yeah, I want to have the status, I want to have all this so I can get the girl, so I can do whatever, and so I can have the kid. That's all your animal brain talking to you, but then you have to bring into your prefrontal cortex, which is basically the bit of your front of your brain that's like higher thought basically, and thinking about things and like critical thinking. That's your frontal lobe, like your prefrontal cortex. Taking into account, I'm going to live in that side of my brain rather than the hedonistic short-term side of your brain. That's the decision you've got to make, kind of thing. But and it's not an easy thing to do.
No, of
and
course
it's a
not.
long-term process. It's a lifelong process.
But that's why we want to do it.
And you'll see it in your life. And there's a reason, like, because like you've probably been in a situation where you've been through your life and like, that person's childish. And it's like, why do you call them childish? It's because they're acting on their short-term desires. Something doesn't go their way, they scream like a child. They don't like something, they get angry like a child. They have no patience like a child. So the path of growth and development is the path of moving away from the desires, the hedonistic desires, the short-term desires, and moving forward to the prefrontal cortex and the bit that's like actually fruitful for you developing a healthy life. And that's like the pathway of learning. Because, like, for example, if you go and talk about like people who have kids, like, oh my God, my kid's doing so well. They're reading at this age rather than that age, or they're walking at this age rather than that age, or anything where it's a development. It's because
it's great, isn't it?
Or look how grown up he is. He's nice and polite in the coffee shop. The little 5-year-old. It's because you're seeing something in the child where it's like they've managed to fight against the hedonistic short-term desires that they used when they were a baby, that you have to use, because babies the only thing babies can do is cry.
Of course.
Because I think humans are the most vulnerable like babies out of the animal kingdom, because they have the biggest brains, so they come out and they've got their brain and they've just got their mum and the dad, and that's all they have to survive. So I need something I cry. So moving away from that, and some adults still haven't moved away from that, by the way. Moving away from that to where if something goes wrong, you don't just cry, like figuratively as well, where something goes wrong, you don't just capitulate. You think, something's not going my way, let me act in a certain way and critically think that, so that I can live in a better way, basically. That's the whole point of it. But it's tough. It's not an easy job.
No, not at all. So like you just said, you brought up about a book you were really interested in, Why Buddhism is True. And around this topic, you said all religions are compelling to some aspect. Then you told me to read the book. So I read the book before, obviously, doing the script. And let's dive into your thoughts first and see what stood out to you from reading this.
Yeah.
And then I'll give you mine.
I think the bit that stood out to me was the bit where you choose your struggle, you choose your pain. It's either the pain of living the lie or the pain of taking the red pill and being like, I actually have control over your life. Because, not putting it lightly, if someone tells you, oh, you're in control of everything that's happened in your life and all the actions that you have in your life, it's down to you. That's kind of scary, because like there's no one to fall, there's no one to fall back on. It's like, this is on me. I have to choose to live a good life. It's like, this is rough, especially if you're young, because you're used to the system around you and the environment around you kind of helping you out. So that's the process of growing, of being like, oh my God, this is how I need to live my life to be fruitful in any sort of way. Okay, it's scary, but it's more scary probably in hindsight to look back and be like, I was just a slave to my whims and I was a slave to my emotions all my life, rather than be like, let me actually have a look at things. So that was the biggest thing that I think I got from that book. And I think for me, I grew up religious with like my mum and dad, but I was always like, with most people that are like atheist or agnostic, they feel like it's the question of why bad things happen in the world, even though there's religion kind of thing, and that kind of ingrained in you. There's always tough stuff that happens, but then if you get into a point where, I got to a point where I was like, everyone for a reason gets to a situation where, or everyone has their own God in a certain way. Everyone has their own moral compass and moral ladder. And I think there's no difference between that and religion. Personally, the more I've like read about religion and like thought about it to myself, there's no difference between you having a God and you thinking the best thing in life is to do this certain way or act a certain way kind of thing. So that got me thinking more. And that's why I felt like all religions are compelling, because it's almost like something that's within everybody. So that's also interesting because of my interest in human behavior and motivation. And to have something within everybody where they lean towards wanting to have something above them, it's like, oh, that's interesting. So then now I'm at a point right now where I'm like, I'd say I'm wrestling with the idea of God, because I think it's been framed the wrong way to the modern society, because in modern society now, I think it's God as a man in the sky. People see God as a man in the sky and whatever it is. But I think for me, from like reading about certain stuff and reading about Bibles and Qurans and reading about Buddhism, it's like God is just the highest value of good that you have in your life. And being religious is choosing the highest good and going towards that path. And the rest of it's kind of noise. The rest of it's noise, whether it's whatever, having to go to church every single week or whatever it is, or praying or whatever it is. The rest of it's kind of noise. For me, at least in this moment in my life, I feel like, and it could change in 10 years' time, but for now, it's like what you want to do is have the highest aim, which should be something that's fruitful now and for the long term and for the people around you. That's how we have a good society and strive towards it.
Do you think, on touching on people's views of Christ, and you thinking that you want to, in some aspect now, do you think that goes back to, and I think it's always been, because we as humans have to serve something. We all serve something.
Yeah,
because I think the best person that told us that was Bob Dylan.
Yeah,
we all serve something.
Yeah, where
by somebody.
There's a reason why like social isolation is like one of the biggest things in prison. It's because we need other people. We need other people to bounce off, to learn off, to survive with. So we need to have the social aspect of our lives. So navigating that is important. And the best way to navigate that is to treat people how you want to be treated, if I'm going to quote Jesus Christ. Or, do you know what I mean? But like, it's the thing of, you have to act in a way that's beneficial for you, obviously, because we're individuals, but for everyone around you, because you're a social being, for the long period of time, so that you can have good emotions over a long period of time for all your life. Because then otherwise, if your highest aim and highest attainment isn't something that's supportive of you and everybody else around you over a long period of time, then you'll fall short at some point.
Of course.
At some point, there'll be a stopgap. Because once the selfishness runs in, once the like hedonistic me comes in, then it'll fall short and you'll get found out, and it'll happen all the time. Whether it's, because you always hear stories of like the worst people, they get to their deathbed and like, I resent my whole life because I didn't act a certain way, or I didn't behave in the right way. And then you have the opposite as well, where people do live along that line, whether it's religious, whether it's not religious, but just living along the pathway of, I'm going to aim up, and I'm going to, whether I falter or fall, I'm going to keep on aiming up and trying to be the highest good. You hear like people, he was such a nice person. He always helped people. He was always someone that you wanted to be around with, and it shows, and you see it in your own life when you start, what's it called? So for example, something that I thought, because when I was younger, I was really, really shy, and like, I just naturally grew out of that bubble. But then it means like social situations are a little bit like finicky. He's like, I don't know how to act. But I found the best way in them situations to feel good about the situation is find someone else and try and make their day better. Think about someone in that party, in that room. Pick someone out and just be like, how you doing? How's it going?
Yeah.
Put yourself in someone else's shoes, remove yourself from it. And then that's a good way to like get rid of the anxiety and get rid of the feeling of that. And then as I was doing that, and I was like, oh my God, in these such social situations, if I genuinely act curious about someone else and take into account their life and not be an individual and serve other people, it makes me feel better.
And then they're curious about you.
And
like it's
and
like
then
a guest I had on last week. He said that he tries to be as open and honest about anything because then he feels like he gets that back. He said, and I believe that. I think the only way we get stuff from people is by giving it.
Yeah.
Because then you're on level then. Nobody's superior, nobody's on a different par. It's just you're on the same level.
Yeah.
So if me and you when we first spoke, we kicked off by starting a conversation around a topic. Once we realised we were both level on that topic, then it just grew
and you
from
can
that.
It snowballs, doesn't it?
It snowballs, doesn't it?
And it's so interesting because I'm like a bit of a nerd, so I like reading and like listening about neuroscience.
Yeah.
And when you listen and you hear the neuroscience about it, it's like it all clicks together. And like the neuroscience and the psychology links together. So like the term depression, in the technical form, there's no difference between depression and like a skewed sense of self or like a intense focus on the self, because when you're depressed, you're thinking, "Oh my God, how am I gonna be in this situation? I'm so bad. It's always I'm." And it's not to say depressed people are like selfish, but like it comes from a skewed sense of self. So I'm not good enough. I'm not allowed to be here. I'm not. Yeah, it's a skewed sense of self, and it's a constant thought on self. But when you remove yourself from that, when you like
you look at it,
change the direction, and you switch that out, it makes people feel better. And I was like, that's like the woo-woo way I felt of making things better by just speaking to someone else and trying to make their time better in the party or social situation. It's like it links it all together. Oh my God, the science actually links to it, where to get out of that self-anxiety and like self-depressive state, you've got to take yourself out of it. And obviously it's easier to say than just to do it, but like
but if,
that's the step, that's the guide, that's
the way
getting away from it.
Definitely. Now, still around the subject of the book, I thought it was interesting because you give me a very good point, and I'm quite happy with it because then my point is very completely different, to be honest, and it's interesting that so I like that when two people read the same book and get different outlooks on it. So I saw it less religious. I saw it as it lines with modern psychology of life, of trying to live a life with less suffering, more clarity, and more control over the mind. So I was more viewing it as it's all back to we are constantly chasing desires. That's how I saw kind of things. And I thought he was raising issues from past wirings we took with us in the world into modern society. Do you see where I come from?
I think it's the same. I agree, because I agree with you. There's nothing that you said that I disagree with. So it's like I agree with you, and it's probably because everyone's different. It's like shaped differently in your head.
Because I thought he was really pushing at modern society issues. Like that's what I got from it. But then I thought he was doing it in a past tense way. Because I feel like this is in general. If we put something in a past tense, it looks like it's easier to fix because it happened so long ago. It's not our fault. Where if he angled it as all issues that are going on today, and the causes it is today, it's a negative straight away. Where if it's past, it's like, first of all, it's people think, oh, that's not my fault. I am different. I can change that. Where if he points out that it's that person, like us as a collective of people, it's us as society's fault. Then it wouldn't.
It makes it harder to battle with because
So
it's my fault.
I thought he used past wiring to be able to show issues in modern
so that
society.
you can change it. Well, I agree. Like it's the same concept that I think.
But then on the religion, maybe it's just that I haven't given the thought recently. I've heard, but I haven't given the thought of religion, because I think then you view it in a religious way, because everything you said about religion and lessons in religion, I do think come back to just life topics and life lessons. Like every topic we've talked on, like I could list it. We've talked on lying, we've talked on opinion, we've talked on what else have we talked on?
We talked on depression. We talked on goals. We talked on
human behavior, motivation.
Yeah.
All these books of the Bible, the Quran, whatever it is, it's a story.
Yeah.
And it's a teaching.
Yeah.
And without that story, I think you lose it. So maybe it is religion, but it's how you view it. So maybe it is a book on religion, but it's at that time that the person is how knowledge of religion they are, and how much they want to expose themselves to it.
Yeah. But I think that's why I'm saying I'm wrestling with God, because I agree with your bit of the psychology of it is just the psychology of human beings. So the teachings and the stories of it, they're there to help whoever's wrote it, or whatever's wrote it. They wrote it to try and get something in you or help other people. It's probably like to help themselves as well, to help you try and live a better life generally. And the thing of stories is like a big thing, because we see the world in stories.
Well, it is. I think the interesting thing about religion is all of them are stories, aren't they?
Yeah.
And if that wasn't called the Bible or the Quran, and it had a cover and it was marketed as a children's book today, say like, just example off the top of my head, Noah's Ark.
Yeah.
I think you would view that as a fictional children's story, but I think the only way to get the lesson across from that story is by it being a story. So maybe it is all just back to lessons. A person from so long ago who's trying to teach lessons now in the future so we can learn from them. But the only way the lesson carries on is it by being a story.
Yeah.
Because if he just had a definition, that definition would get lost.
Yeah.
Why do we know all the best inventions? Because there's a story behind the inventions.
And it's captivating. The best stories, that's why stories are important, because they're captivating and we see the world in stories. So when we see a story that's like almost hyper true, like true, maybe not true in terms of this thing happened at this time and date, but like I've seen this trope in millions of different situations throughout the world. It's almost truer than, like, because then it takes into account of what's true, like what's really true. If there's a story talking about someone who's grew up in a horrible way, but then they've turned their life around and now they're living better and now they're trying to teach things on. That's a hyper real story. It might not be true per se, that person did it, but we've seen or heard so many of that story before. So what you're saying there makes sense, and I think that's why I'm wrestling with the idea of...
It's very difficult, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I think it's down to... I think some people like to do it because it feels like they're serving someone or something's serving them. And I think that is an okay thing to have, because I think that's why in our human brain that we either serve somebody or somebody's serving us.
Yeah.
Because no matter who you are, like even if you're the biggest A-lister celebrity or footballers, you're still serving somebody. Yeah. Like the footballers, I always make the example, footballers are serving the fans, because if they weren't fans in the stadium, the footballers wouldn't actually be there.
And they feed off the fans as well.
They feed off the fans, and I think that's in life. So I think that's in religion. Yeah. So I think it all correlates.
Yeah, and it's the fans who are paying for the tickets, paying for the Sky Sports memberships, paying for everything. So
without them, there's not. But then without the footballers, there's no fans.
Yeah. So
everyone's serving something. And everyone's serving somebody. Like I'm serving my guests. Yeah. But then they're serving me.
By being on
it and giving their views.
Yeah. And that's how things in a good ideal world should be, where people are serving each other selflessly, but knowing that things that are beneficial are going to come from it, because we're serving each other to try and make a better society or neighborhood or town or world or whatever it is, because it's like lucrative for both of us.
I spoke to your mate, Joe.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Joe.
And I basically asked him his opinion of you and how he sees you as a person in his eyes.
Interesting.
So I'm going to read out what he said, and then I want to get your opinion on it.
Okay, this will be interesting. Joe's an interesting man.
I want to meet him, to be honest.
Joe's a good guy.
I need to meet Joe.
He's one of my closest mates, to be fair.
But before I speak, it was very long. He gave me a good 3-4 paragraph.
Oh, did
which
he?
was really good, and I love reading it.
Okay.
But
Thanks,
I've had to summarise it a little bit just for the thought of the episode, but I will provide it with you after it. So, here we go. He's a hard person to sum up in one message. He's the most genuine, philosophical, driven, big divvy I've ever known.
Okay.
He's constantly pulling towards understanding himself and living with intention in a way that's genuinely inspiring, but also hilarious, because he can't take his own advice to save his life.
That's true. So this is all a scam.
He'll say, you can't solve love, and then spend 20 minutes breaking down a psychology study on relationships.
True.
He finds the time for anyone who needs it, appreciates everything and everyone around him, and always wants to help, listen, and pass on whatever new insights he's collected that month. He does it with an easygoing charm that makes him impossible not to align yourself with him. For better or for worse, he's going to be my best man, so hopefully his bottle doesn't go.
Yeah, Joe's getting married, by the way.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Me and Joe went to school together. We're in the same year. And his fiance now was in my form, and they've been together since.
That's interesting.
Yeah, 8.
Yeah.
And it's been like 10 years now, and they're engaged. So I'm going to be his best man. First time being a best man.
What's that going to be like? I think that's very interesting. Like somebody, like a mate or somebody asking you to be such a pivotal role in their life.
I think it's good because it's a sign of trust. Like, you trust me to be present and have an active role in such a key day in your life with someone that you really care about and like love. So he's obviously marrying her because he loves it.
Of course. Yeah.
So he's in that situation, and it's like there's a little bit of pressure to it, but then ultimately it doesn't matter what I say because it's not going to change the relationship.
No, it's not going to change nothing. But I think it's more. I think being asked to do that is more a thing about you than about them, because it's how they view you.
I've been selected. Yeah.
You've been selected, which is lovely.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, but I'm interested. Hopefully one day I'll get to meet him because he was very interesting.
I'm trying to get him to come to two. I tried to get him on the half. I tried to get him on the half, but it's ran out.
But
he did.
We'll have to just meet up with him.
He did half on his own.
Okay.
Like for the first time doing it, like within last week. So he doesn't want to do it. Just trying to get him to. He'll come to a run club because now it's on video. So now he's been held accountable.
I'm gonna make sure of it. I'm gonna put it on every week. Every week I'm gonna put a story out until he comes on.
Joe's gonna come.
But before I go on to the closing tradition, just off the top of my head, what does he do for you?
Joe is how is best to describe Joe?
Why do you want to spend time around him?
Because I think his moral compass and my moral compass are facing the same direction.
Okay.
And that's so useful to have.
I think that's really important.
Because especially in a world where you can feel like such an individual, and you are a little bit of an individual, and everyone's got their own experiences and own forms. When you've known someone for that long, and we're almost like we're adjusting our own moral compasses between us. So you might say something and I might disagree, and I'm like, Joe, you're fucking stupid. Yeah. But then I'll think back and be like, actually Joe was right a little bit here and there, and maybe I was a little bit too intense there. And it's like, and then vice versa, something will happen with me. So then we can almost like shift our moral compasses, and it's almost like we get to have a crash. I get to have a crash course in how my worldview is going to be in someone else. And that's so useful because you only get to live one life. So if you have people around you who have the same like goal of being living a fruitful life where
Morals.
you're having, where you're aiming towards the highest good. It's like so useful because, as I said, you only get to live one life, and to see other iterations of how your worldview can, obviously won't be the same worldview, but a similar worldview can work. And I'd say Joe was a happy, fruitful person because of the things that he sets his life on, in terms of, this is how I'm going to live my life, regardless of whatever kind of thing. And I think that's really noble and really useful. And it's meant that he's lived a fruitful life, and that he will continue to live a fruitful life because of that. And that's so key. So that's why Joe is important. That's enough Joe positivity
There we go.
for the day.
Well, I want to ask you our closing tradition. And the question, it's called The Walkway. And the question is, if somebody walked the day in your shoes, what's one lesson they'd learn?
I think they'd learn that we really do have a choice in terms of how we live our life and how we react to the hardships in our life. But it doesn't come easy. But it is your choice, and you do have the strength to do it. I think that's what they'd learn, because over the past few, I think even when I was younger, I was always concerned with, like, I think everyone is, but like, what's the good thing to do? What's the right thing to do? And sometimes that like snowballs into just like trying to just do whatever you think is the right thing, or someone else think. But like, it means that I've gotten to a point now where like I enjoy like reflecting on my own behaviors to be like, how can I be a better citizen and better person in the world? And I think that's what if someone took off my shoes and put them on, had to walk to Asda, I think within that walk to Asda, they'd be like, you know what? Life's a little bit rough in a bunch of different ways, but we have the power to move through it. And I think that's what they learn.
Definitely. I love that. Well, I really do appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate you as a person.
Yeah.
We've only recently kindled as mates, but to be fair, it has been amazing finding somebody who's very much similar-minded and has same views and same topics. And to be honest, I think I've been looking for somebody around that, and a mate around that same wavelength for quite a while. So yeah.
I need to introduce you to Joe, so you can be a trio.
But yeah. No,
but I agree, it's been really good, just like, because it's so difficult to find like-minded people.
Oh, it is.
Especially like-minded young people in like your own circle. So meeting you and becoming mates with you has been really fruitful, because it's like you have to bounce off ideas
of course.
without,
we constantly do that.
Without any judgment, when just like out of pure curiosity. And yeah, that's good.
Our WhatsApp's basically like a podcast.
Yeah, basically.
Our voice notes is just like we could put them all together and make an audio version.
I want to have the most episodes on this podcast in 15 years' time. And I'll come back once a year.
Definitely. Hopefully, that's definitely going to be the plan. Yeah. 100%. Especially when we get my own studio.
Yeah, when we get the own studio.
But thank you very much, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir.
Coming on. Thank you.